Hey cats, it's Ed, Fox Mulder, Bud here. Welcome to another episode of the Shoe Files. This is a series where I explore a specific area of running shoes. This is where I delve in and try and unravel the mysteries. Today I'm looking at some collaborations between Nike and the Gyakusou brand. They've produced some interesting running shoes over the last few years. Are they just rehashes of the same models but in different colorways? Let's have a look. Thanks for joining me here on EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews, namely the Shoe Files. Beast Scully isn't with me today. I'm not entirely sure where Beast is. Probably asleep somewhere. That's what cats normally do, right? If you haven't done so yet and you like running shoe content, hit that subscribe button and also click the bell below for notifications of when I launch the new videos for you. Don't want to miss out, do you? It also helps us out a huge amount if you give this video a thumbs up like, but also share it with your running buddies. Cheers, me dears. Over the last few years, we've had these constant colorway refreshes from Nike. You know, we've had the Ekiden pack, the Fast pack, the colorways that nobody really wants. Those always seem to get discounted the quickest, don't they? What I'm getting at is it's the same shoes, only different colors. One collaboration, though, that Nike have that breaks the mold is that with Gyakusou. They always provide some significant changes in their version of the shoes. It makes it a little bit more interesting. They switch up the structure, the materials, the vibe, and the colors. Jun Takahashi's Gyakusou brand translates to reverse run. I think what they're trying to get out there is they're moving against the grain, sort of in the opposite direction to everybody else. I've been lucky enough to try out a few of the shoes. I did have the Pegasus 35 Turbo for a little while, but I really didn't get on with the lockdown on that one. Of course, the Gyakusou Vaporfly 4% FLYKNIT, and more recently the Vaporfly Next % Gyakusou. What makes these models really stand out is the redesign in terms of the upper, just key changes that really improve the shoe. Now, looking at the production dates on the Gyakusou version of the Next %, it looks like they were actually made towards the end of 2019. Yet I don't think these saw the light of day until about July 2021, so they were clearly sat in a warehouse or something somewhere, maybe aboard some sort of container or something, but they finally released in July 2021. Of course, the Vaporfly Next % 2 had released by then, so what you had is a shoe with quite a different upper to the Vaporfly Next % original, still with the midsole and outsole that everybody loves, but a drastically different upper setup. You can't get away from the fact that the retail price of this shoe was eye-wateringly high. I think they were about £260 when they launched, which is wild. You know, you're not far off the Alpha Fly price. And there's a good 46 grams extra weight in this version of the shoe over the original. Big changes in these over the original is that reinforcement around the toe box area. Now that was a big area people had problems with in the original version of the Vaporfly Next %. You've still got that offset lacing system here, but that has changed too. We've got lace loops and these quite considerable wraps around each side of the shoe. They appear on both the medial and the lateral side. I have to say, after using these this morning once again, that they really do enhance the fit and lockdown of the shoe. You just feel a little bit more connected onto that midsole unit. The tongue here feels a little thicker as well. It's got this application of almost like a felt-like material on top of it, and that helps to reduce some of the pressure on top of the foot of those very thick laces that Nike have included on this model. All the elements here have been considered very carefully. Very small tweaks, nothing too major, just lots of things to improve the actual fit of the shoe. Whereas I found the original version of the Vaporfly Next % a little bit short in terms of the length, this one, no problem. They're the same size, so something's changed. I think it's probably down to that toe box reinforcement, just lifting the material away from my toes a little bit. The actual overhang of the outsole as well, as it creeps up around the upper, isn't anywhere near as long. It doesn't go back as far. I think the real question here is, why are Gyakusou given free rein and carte blanche as to what they want to do to change the upper design of the shoes? You don't see that in other collaborations. They're merely just colour switch-ups, different shades, different tones. Here, there's some actual thought gone into the changes that have been put into place. I think this is more of a remix in the mould of perhaps an off-white Nike shoe, or some of those three-way collaborations that we've seen on the Vapor Waffle, or perhaps even some of the Travis Scott efforts. I mean, the only thing that's really similar between this version and the original one is the midsole unit and the outsole. They've even painted those here a lovely forest hue. Another shoe from this collaboration is the Vaporfly 4% FLYKNIT. On the surface, this one looks really similar to the original version, but when you dig a little bit deeper, you can see there are quite a number of differences. All subtle things that really enhance the fit of the shoe. The actual FLYKNIT itself, certainly around the medial and lateral sides, around the arch and the outer section here, really were more flexible. There's just a bit of stretch to the FLYKNIT, and I really found that it enhanced the fit. You could dial the lacing tension in that a little bit more, and it was just a more comfortable shoe over the miles. Other big changes here were the lack of padding, actually, in the heel area of the shoe. In the original version of the 4% FLYKNIT, you had this squashy padding around the top section of the heel. That just simply isn't there in the Gyakusou version. Another change in the upper was this counter section here in the heel adds a little bit more rigidity. It is on the outside of the upper, and it really did make quite a difference to the heel lock. I'll just demonstrate a little bit for you guys at home. You can see the stretch here in the upper material. It's the same on the lateral side as well. And it's much more rigid here in the 4% FLYKNIT original. Nowhere near as much stretch to it. Practically identical in terms of weight. You only had about 5 grams extra in this version of the shoe. Certainly the same blueprint has been used, but Takahashi has actually made some very subtle changes here and improved the shoe. This one is probably the pinnacle of the 4% FLYKNIT, and still to this day one of the most beautiful shoes that I have in my collection. Now, both of these Vaporfly models retailed for about £250 plus. Both of these are actually quite sought after on the resale market as well. You will remember early in the video I mentioned that there was a Pegasus 35 Turbo Gyakusou version 2. I think there are in fact 2 colorways of that one with a unique toggle lacing system. Almost a trail look to the shoe really, but it does have some of those same hints in the upper with those overlays and things to improve the fit, though I found the lacing system didn't really work all that well. I wish there was a standard pair of laces in there, I suppose. They dispense with that padded tongue and put a much thinner version in with lace loops again, as we saw in the next percent. So the mystery here is, are these Gyakusou models of these famous Nike shoes still running shoes, or have they really become kind of designer fashion models? I mean, there are very few people that will opt for these versions of the shoes over perhaps the cheaper, more readily available ones, regardless of how beautiful they look. I'll be very honest with you guys, I only picked this one up because it was discounted so much. I had to double check on the price. It was £121.47p. Now, to get a next percent I can use for training for that price, well, you can't turn your nose up at it, can you? In fact, the original price at retail, I was wrong. It was £269. Yep, I can't see anybody going for these, though, at the retail price over a standard pair of the next percent. Despite that improved lockdown, I don't think it's worth, you know, like another £100 or whatever. Now, we've covered the Gyakusou shoe collaborations with Nike, but what about some of the clothing? Some of it's absolutely bonkers. I don't think that I'd get away with wearing it around Yeovil, put it that way. People would think I'd completely lost it. It's statement stuff really, I think. The shorts here at £120, which aren't all that different to the standard Aeroswift half-tights. They certainly make a statement, don't they? And then the 3-layer jacket here at 260 Earth credits is one for only the die-hard Gyakusou fans, I think. I don't think even the removable mittens would push me over the edge to go and get one of these. I think you've got a mixture here between shoes where they've actually tried to improve the performance and the fit, and I think the apparel is very much a designer fashion option. The materials themselves are just the same as some of the cheaper versions of those products. So, mystery solved, sort of. Have you picked up any of the Gyakusou Nike products? What did you make of them? Did you grab that next percent when it was discounted a little while back? Do you find it's the same? I think the ride's pretty similar really, but I really like the lockdown. Let me know your thoughts and your views down in the comments. I'm off to go and read some more alien conspiracy theories. Musical interlude time. I can't quite believe it, but my favourite Hives album is now 20 years old. Makes me feel very old myself. Your new favourite band is the album to seek out. It's the first album that they put out. It's got a fantastic collection of very energetic songs. Hate to Say I Told You So and Main Offender amongst my favourites, along with The Hives Are Law and You Are Crime. I think The Hives had a weird issue with their record label, and there was lots of legal wranglings for a while. I think they put out this collection on the Pop Tones label, and then it turned out that they were contracted to some other label, and yeah, there was a big hoo-ha about it. They had some fantastic names as well, the guys in the Hives. I think there was like Nicholas Arson, Dr. Matt Destruction, and Howling Pete Arnquist as well. Fantastic names. I haven't listened to too much of their more recent material, but this one really nails it for me. Very fond memories around that period. There was loads of good music being released, and this Hives album was one such disc. Go and check it out, your new favourite band from the Hives. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video, guys. It's always appreciated. Don't forget to let me know if you've been testing out some Gyakusou models down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and the bell. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you